Good afternoon, everybody. It's Kim. I just finished my morning walk, and as I was walking, I got to thinking about a couple comments. I'm on a lot of different Facebook groups for hiking, and one of the questions that's frequently asked is, how do I get started? And, you know, you'll get a lot of kind of backhand, jokes about, well, you just start walking. Well, let me tell you, for some of us, and you may be one of them, the just get walking, it's easier said than done. Now, let me tell you really quick, I have some significant health issues. I'm sorry, my cat's over here. I have rheumatoid arthritis, which affects a lot in my hands and my feet. Will start from the feet then. I broke my right foot a couple years ago. It was missed, I don't know how, on x-ray that it was broken in 3 places, including one of my toes, and it did not heal properly, so that leaves me with a little bit of a problem on my right foot. I have a significant heel spur on my left foot, so that can make, walking a little bit difficult. Beside the rheumatoid arthritis, I have Reynaud Syndrome, which is a circulation issue with your hands and your feet. It can affect your nose and your ears as well. So it tends to get really cold, and when they get cold, it's hard to get the feeling back in your feet and your hands. And most significantly, I do have chronic bursitis in my left hip, and my spine from osteoarthritis has from L1, which is in your lumbar spine, all the way down to the tip of my sacrum, has fused into one continuous bone with arthritis. So, I hate to say it, but some of us, I'm getting older. I've had a lot of injuries to my back, and, you may have other injuries and things wrong too. And I also had to have significant surgery on my left shoulder, which I'm still actually not fully healed from. I do not have complete range of motion back. That was just October of 2019. I had my surgery on my shoulder. So, there are those of us that have significant health issues. Now, the reason I mention all of this is because I'm going to show you where I started, and then we'll talk about what I did today. I wanted to show you what my significant walk was in the morning. I'm stepping out my back door, okay, and I had to go to that barn. In order to get there, I had to use some assistive device, a walking stick, or sometimes I used a shovel or whatever, because I was not steady enough to walk that far. So let's walk this walk together, okay? This is it. This is what I had to do. And I was pretty unsteady. I was weak. I'd come out here in the morning. Yep, this is it. This is my walk. I'd come out here in the morning. I'd open up my trailer, let the birds out. Come in here, let my other birds out. Feed everybody in here, and then I would walk around here. If they needed water, of course, I would put water in their bowls and such. I'd come over here and I would feed the pigs. And here's my walking stick. I just leave it laying here if I need to. So this is what I use to help me get to the barn in the morning. Just a stick I found laying outside. Now I use it when they dump their trough to bring it up to me. But this was my walk in the morning. And by the time I got back to the house, I was tired enough, I had to sit down for 20 minutes. My back hurt, my feet hurt, my knees hurt. So I just wanted you to see where I started. Okay, I hope that clip kind of gave you a little better information. You know, I wasn't exaggerating. It was that difficult for me to get out there. And, you know, you might not be as bad as me. You might be worse. I don't know. Actually, you know, I'll say it now. When I first developed rheumatoid arthritis, I was significantly worse than what you just saw. I could not walk 25 feet unassisted. I was primarily bedbound for almost 8 months, and I fought my way back from that. And then, you know, I got a sedentary job. For 8 years I was working on a computer, you know, 8-9 hours a day, and I just never was much for exercise. I was always the fat kid and whatever. It was not my thing. So, you know, for me to say, hey, I'm going to start hiking, that it took, you know, it took me a lot of thought and work to say, can I do this? And I know I can, because you can do anything you really put your mind to. But I also had to start taking those first steps. So anyway, what I did to start was I set a goal. I went out and yes, I just took a walk. My first walk, I did have to make my first investment, and I went online and I was deciding, okay, I need something decent to help with my stability issue. So I didn't know the difference between a trekking pole and a walking stick, like a Nordic walking stick. So I went online and YouTubed a lot and determined I needed trekking poles. And I looked at several videos. The one that kind of made the most sense to me was from Bigfoot. And I'll put a link in the bottom. I'm not going to show you how to use trekking poles. He does a good job. I think his video is called something like how to use trekking poles the wrong way, the right way, and my way. But anyway, you can watch that. It's a good video if you need to learn how to use trekking poles. So anyway, I didn't know where to buy them, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money, so I went to Walmart, picked up these. Okay, they're fairly lightweight. They're called Outdoor Products. They were $30. So, you know, if I didn't need them for very long, I thought I was just going to use them to help me start walking, not necessarily to help me start hiking. I knew that, you know, they would be okay to help me do what I need to do. The only thing I wish they had better was a padded strap on them. But I figure I could probably, you know, I know how to sew really well. If I need it, which of course I should have mentioned, I do have severe carpal tunnel. It bothered my carpal tunnel until I figured out how to dial in properly walking with them, the proper height for me. So it does take a little bit of trial and error when you first start using them. And so what I did was I got my trekking poles. I went out and I went down the road and I walked a quarter mile. Turned around and walked back. I was exhausted. I was tired. My feet hurt. My knees hurt. My back hurt. Everything hurt. You know, it was a mess. And it made me realize how, oh, sorry, my cat just decided to come back and pet himself on my camera. But I did it every day for a week. I went out there and I only walked a quarter mile, turned around and came home. Walked a quarter mile, turned around and came home. And by the end of the week, it got easier. It wasn't easy, but it was easier. So I pushed it a little bit further. I walked a half a mile, turned around and came home. I did it the next day and then the next day. So I got myself up to a mile where it was easy. I could go out a half mile, come back a half a mile. Then instead of pushing it farther as distance, I did it twice a day. I'd go out and come back, go out, come back, twice a day. I did that for at least a week. And then I started slowly building up, 3/4 of a mile out and back. And then I'll show you where I'm at now. Okay, so that was, and I'm proud of myself, you guys. Now, I just started doing this at the end of May, early June. This is the longest continuous walk that I have done to date. I've walked further than that in one day. Not a whole lot, maybe 7 miles, but I wanted to go around the block. That's around the block where I live, guys. It's not a city block. This is a country mile block. So I wanted to see if I could do it today. And, my feet are a little bit sore. They're not terrible. And my back hurts a little bit, but that's always there for me. I think I could do this now. I know that I can get out there and I can start hiking. Okay, so anyway, once I got the trekking poles, I was wearing some really cheap shoes. They were just slip-on, pull-on shoes from Walmart again. That's the only thing I have in my area, you guys. That's the only store I have within 45 miles of my house, so maybe even 50 miles. But, so I had the cheap slip-on shoes. I didn't even have tie shoes. So I needed something a little bit better for my feet. Again, I went to Walmart and I picked up just a pair of tennis shoes. What I liked about these was they had a lot of cushion under here, okay, because remember I have that heel spur and the broken foot, previously broken foot. This is all like rubber. I got the mesh on the top because my feet were sweating and, they would dry a little bit better this way. And these were like $12.88. And I still like them, I still use them because they are a very comfortable shoe. But I decided to invest. Beside the trekking pole, I think your absolute first investment has to be in your feet. Don't go buy a backpack, don't get a sleeping bag, don't get a tent. In my opinion, the most important and the first thing you should purchase if you're thinking about doing hiking is a good pair of shoes. So again, I went online, I went on the hiking group, and I said, where's the best place to get a pair of hiking shoes? And I was thinking boots, and I realized boots don't work for me because the leather doesn't breathe. If they get wet, they stay wet, according to everything my research shows. And if they rub on my Achilles tendon and on my ankles, it causes a lot of pain issues for me. With my arthritis and my Raynaud's, it sets me off. So I decided to go with trail runners. And I went to where everybody recommended was to go to REI. And the closest REI to me is about 85-ish miles, maybe 90 miles. It wasn't a big deal. My kids lived not too far from there. So went to visit the kids and stopped in at REI. And I picked up some Ultra 4.5, I believe, shoes. And the reason I went to REI is because of their money-back guarantee. If for any reason the gear you buy, you do not care for it, whether it doesn't fit right, you don't like the color, it doesn't matter. They don't care. They don't ask. You can take them back. And I'm not talking bad about Ultras. I know they're really good shoes. A lot of people love them, but I made a mistake when I went there the first time. I got there and there was quite a long line. They were only allowing 2 people in at a time to try on shoes because of the COVID and the social distancing here in Michigan. And I only had 15 minutes to try on shoes. I liked them in the store, but then I went to my first, I guess want to call it real hike, besides walking around here. And I'll link that video in the description as well. I went to Port Crescent State Park here in Michigan. Absolutely gorgeous park. And what I mean by a real hike, it was a real hike. It had hills, there were roots, there were rocks, there was a significant couple sand dunes to go up and down. We walked on the beach. And by the time I got home, it was around 2 miles. My heel spur was on fire. It was so bad, I could not even put a pair of shoes on for a week. I had to walk in slippers. I'd go to Walmart in my slippers because my heel spur was so bad. So nothing against the Ultras, but made another trip down to see the kids, stopped at REI, picked up another pair of shoes, and before I said anything about them, I'm taking them off, sorry, because I want to show them to you. Like I said, I literally just got back. I put at least 30 miles on these shoes so far, and I really find them extremely comfortable for me. And they are the Hoka 1 or Hoka 1-1. They are the Speed Goat 4. And I find that kind of ironic considering I own a farm. Speed Goat. Okay. Maybe just my warped sense of humor. But what you want in a shoe is, for me, okay, these are breathable. They have a breathable mesh. These have the most padding of just about every shoe in the store. Again, they have that significant padding in the heel. It helps my heel spur. And because I'm going to be going off trail, it has the lugs on the bottom so that I don't slip on rocks and as much and stuff like that. So this was, to me, between this and the trekking poles and one more piece of equipment, is the most important thing for you to do for yourself. The next piece that you need is a decent pair of socks. And, you know, I kind of poo-pooed that. I didn't think it was that significant. You know, I just pulled whatever out of my drawer. Well, I found out the hard way. I got to find everything out the hard way, I guess, that they were causing a couple blisters because my foot would just shift a little bit in the shoe. They didn't breathe really well. They were cheap, you know, six pairs for $8 or whatever, again, from Walmart. So I decided to upgrade. I listened. Sorry, guys. Let me show you. My turkeys are making a visit. Sorry. You know, I'm in the country. You're going to hear the noises. Anyway, I went and listened to people again, and I picked up some merino wool socks, and I picked up two different kinds. I'm sorry, I'm going to show you one that I just took off my foot. The first one I picked up is the Darn Tough brand. Again, this is the medium weight one. I picked up two pair. Go away, Bob. I picked up the medium weight pair. It's supposed to have a little bit of cushion on the bottom. I guess they're okay. You know, I mean, I don't know if it's that much cushion, but it's got a little bit of cushion. And I picked up a lightweight pair. And the reason I did that was I listened to people, and Darn Tough has a money-back guarantee. If you wear them out or you ruin them for whatever reason, you send them back to the company and they give you a new pair for life. So, but at $20 to $23 a pair, you know, they're not cheap. So I wanted a couple extra pair. Again, remember, I have that Reynaud's, and I like to wear wool socks every day in the winter. And I don't, you know, I want to be able to wash them when I want to wash them. Without shrinking them, they need to hang dry, and, you know, I don't want to have to wash them every day. So anyway, I went on Amazon, and I wanted to try these out before I told you about them. These are called People Sock. Okay, I hope you can read that. See, People Socks. Just like, you know, we are people. People Socks. And I picked up 3 pair for, I think it was like $16.95, something like that. So these also have a guarantee. I don't know if it's for life, but, you know, if there's a flaw in them or whatever, you can send them back to People's and get another pair. So I now have 5 pair of merino wool socks. I don't feel a significant difference in the comfort level with them, although I do like these a little bit more. They have like a little compression band around the mid part of the foot here. There's a little compression band, and I kind of like that because it gives a little bit of arch support. I don't know how long they're going to last. I've only worn them like, you know, 4 or 5 times. And, you know, so far so good. But I do like the little bit of compression band. I don't have super high arches, so I don't need a lot of arch support, but it feels good on my feet. Take a little bit and invest something in yourself, you know, and to me the most significant thing is get those shoes and a decent pair of socks. And, you know, the rest of it falls into place. So, yeah, you know, the old saying, if I can do this, so can you. I hope you believe that now. I hope you can, you know, understand that it might take longer than the average person for some of us, but you know, I'm really proud of what I've done. From, you know, you saw where my walk was before to what I've done today. And you know, I just want to encourage you, if you have a dream, get out there. It doesn't matter where you're at. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Get off the couch, get out there, just start doing it. You know, I'm going to see the Pictured Rocks next year. I'm going to try to hit as much of the North Country Trail here in Michigan that I can. And my goal is to hit the AT in 2020 when I turn 60, and maybe I'll see you there. Have a great day, everybody.